Alright, so I'm about to plant the third sister of the three sisters gardening method. At least my version of it here. Of course, the three sisters is a well-known folk tale or something along those lines, attributed to Native Americans who planted corn, squash, and some type of beans all together in the same area of the gardening spot, and they say that the three sisters all benefited each other. The corn, of course, provides the lattice for the beans to grow up on, and the squash helps to shade the ground to keep down weeds and protect the soil from too much sunlight and that kind of thing. So all three sisters mutually benefited each other, and the peas or the beans, of course, fed the soil with nitrogen for the next year and that type of thing. So I'm about to plant the beans or the peas in this little field I got here, or this little section I got here of corn and squash that's already started. So it's worth mentioning that this corn is a few weeks old. I let it get a nice size before planting the beans because I wanted to be sure that the beans wrapping around the corn would not impede or seriously damage the corn. And so my plan is to plant have one bean or some type of legume right in the middle of each of these four corns. Now those little corns are sad. I had to replant that spot, and they got off to a real slow start for some random reason after I replanted them. Anyways, I'm going to put a bean right in the middle of these guys, just so one plant will come up and, have 3 or 4 corn stalks to choose from. So then I'll put another one at least a foot over right there, and another one a foot over right there, etc. Another foot over. So I'm just going to have a line of beans or peas down the middle of these 2 rows of corn. And so you can see here what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull aside not only the mulch, but I'm going to dig all the way down through the compost to the soil level, because the beans and peas don't like super rich compost to grow into, is my experience. So I'm not going to try to plant them on the compost. There, I dug all the way down to the soil level. Make sure y'all can see that. So that's where the soil started. I'm going to put the peas or beans right on top of that, and then just cover it with some sand. I'm going to start with the southern pea, what I call black-eyed peas. This is a type of black-eyed pea is what we call them. So I'm going to put a couple of those in that hole right there, and bury them with the sand. 1, 2, 3 ought to be good. Heck? Go put it in the compost. Alright, I got all the holes dug. Let's see how many I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 holes. So if I get 20 powerful pea plants, maybe I'll let 2 grow out of 1 hole or something. I'm just going to drop in the seeds. Black-eyed that I had planted with my corn, sweet corn, and kind of a three sisters idea. The corn is long gone, and the summer squash is long gone, and the black-eyed peas that we're doing very poorly at first, have finally taken over, as you can see right here. Just a ton of leafy growth, basically like a jungle. There's another angle on those black-eyed peas, just a sea of greens taking over all this area. They were just planted right in here. Just a few plants every few feet. They're just completely taken over this area. Of course, I've read that when you have this type of lush green growth like crazy, and that's often a sign of high levels of nitrogen, higher than the beans need, and they say that generally goes with a poor yield. So I don't know what my yield may be. I haven't seen any pods growing yet on these beans, so hopefully we'll prove them wrong, and there'll be a million pods with nice good black-eyed peas before the winter comes in. Now check out this sea of green of black-eyed peas. The vines don't have any peas in sight still. All the way over to the fence here. These vines must have grown like 20 feet long. All into the my path here. I'm pretty amazed. They just started out as, measly little plants that struggled for like 3 months while the corn and the squash was there. I mean, these little plants barely did anything, and there's probably 20-something little vines that I started. These things are just taking over like crazy jungle beast style. Let me show you here. I mean, these vines are just taking over. They started to put out some pods now, finally. I didn't want the vines to take over my path here, but I didn't cut them out, and they've taken it over. So I'm planning on cutting it out today so that I can open up a bed right here where I have my cucumbers that did pretty poorly, primarily because of pest damage from the pickle worm. Pickle worm got a little update on the black-eyed peas, and they've taken over my fence right in here. More importantly, you can look and see all these pods starting to dry out, and I'm happy to report that pods have really seemed to pile on. Got the pathway cleared, got me some baby green started, a few rows, nice and crooked rows for my crooked garden. So maybe the idea that if you get an overabundance of green growth, you're going to get low harvest. Maybe that's not so true, but lots of pods spread throughout here. It's come up all the way over there and started to take over my sad little stand of popcorn.